What's up, Defenders, and welcome to another edition of One More Sleep. This is the Houston Dynamo Part Deux preview. Now, hopefully, you have a fan on, AC, central air, any one of the above, heck, even an ice cube tray on your forehead. It's hot as throwing whatever obscene term you're choosing in there. Look, I personally hate cold weather. I left the Northeast not only for more lucrative opportunities, but for warm weather. But even I'll admit, this is Looney Tunes. I don't like being this hot. Even with that humidity, I feel like I'm in Satan's cellar. No bueno. Anyways, introductions. My name is Christian Philemon, the platinum-haired flamingo, and I'll be flying solo tonight. Scarv is on his way to Oakland to take in an A's game and pay homage to what was once a successful franchise. Believe it or not, folks, the Athletics are tied with the Red Sox for third. On the list of teams with the most World Series, they have 9, but none since 1989. Whether you like the A's or baseball, I'm sure we could all agree what's going on in Oakland is a travesty. I don't even know what the deal is with Vegas yet. I heard last they haven't even gotten financing on the stadium. But anyway, I digress. I could talk about that all day long, but we won't. Now, it's been some time since we took on the Houston Dynamo. I know, Philly, you're being silly. And yes, I am. We lost to them at home last week. In fact, that was our second loss at BMO this season. Second time we got shut out at home, too. First time, if you remember, going back to March 9th, 0-0 against Sporting Kansas City. And obviously, I apologize for rehashing traumatic memories, but we have to preview the Dynamo once again. We're heading back down to Houston, folks. And I say back down because we were scheduled to go down there, and we did, to play against the Dynamo back in July. But thanks to Hurricane Beryl, other plans ensued, courtesy of Mother Nature, and that's why this match got rescheduled. Perfect timing, though, right? We're only in a scenario where we've got 6 of our key players missing on international break, along with Jesus David Murillo, of course, who will be out for an extended period of time. As a reminder, on international duty, we will not have, I said Jesus David Murillo, he's not international duty, he's injured. But on international duty, Denny Bouanga, he's with Gabon. Matty Bogusz, he's with Poland. And congrats on the call-up. Omar Campos is with the Mexico U23s. Maxime Chenot is with Luxembourg. David Martinez is with Venezuela. And Kike Oliveira is with Uruguay. They will be with their respective national teams from the 2nd of September, which is 4 days ago, up until the 10th. Have no fear. They should all be back and hopefully healthy for next week's derby match against the Galaxy at Dignity Health Sports Park. And of course, we're going to update you on the next pod as to how our boys did while representing their country's kids. Now, as mentioned at the top of the podcast, we played Houston at home last week and lost. Last score 2-0. We very much looked like a team that played in 6 contests over 19 days, 3 matches within 7. We got skunked at home, Defenders, and it wasn't pretty. Had it not been for Hugo Lloris, who knows? That scoreline might have been far uglier than 2-0. Now, Saturday's matchup at Shell Energy Stadium will be the 16th time historically that LAFC and Houston have met, with the record 6-4-5 falling in favor of LAFC after last week. For LAFC, they remain in second place, very much in control of their fate on how they finish in the Western Conference. Supporters Shield might be a little out of reach unless Miami starts laying several eggs, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Black and Gold currently sit in second place, 5 points behind the Galaxy with 3 games in hand. Houston, after the win, very much a team in playoff contention, sitting in 7th place and could easily climb up higher on that ladder with a win on Saturday. There's only, 6 or so points, I believe, that separate us from them. So there isn't a very big gap in the West. And as the season's progressing, that gap's getting smaller and smaller. Now, the Dynamo have only lost twice in their last 12 matches while scoring 24 times during that period. While in 7th place, this is a team that's number 1 in the West with 31 goals allowed. The defense has been on point, and that's despite having to go through several different lineups. Now, you've heard the story. So at this point, we should probably get into the usual segments, the players to watch, the keys to the game, and of course, the score predictions. Now, really quick, before I do that, we already touched upon the fact that LAFC are missing half a dozen of their key players, 7 actually per total. I got to stop saying just half a dozen. Jesus David Maria will not be playing. For the Dynamo, the only person they're going to be missing, as per their PR anyway, is their backup keeper, Xavier Valdez. He is off on international duty with the Dominican Republic, which means we will probably see Steve Clark in between the sticks tomorrow. Steve Clark had a very, very good game against LAFC the last go-round. All right. Scarf doesn't have any players to watch. He didn't give me any notes. And quite honestly, I asked him not to because then there was just more stuff for me to talk about. And I like to get down to it and give you all what you need to know and have you on your way. I know Defenders is a hell of a lot more fun when it's Philly, the Scarf, and Hello Kitty, as we get to banner and go back and forth and poke fun at one another. But when it's just me, I don't want to waste your time. Straight to the point, all business. So as far as my players to watch, like I said, we're missing a significant amount of players. So with that being the case, for Houston, Ezequiel Ponce is the player to watch out for on the Dynamo. Now, the 27-year-old Argentinian was the Dynamo's largest acquisition in terms of paid transfer fees. He comes in from AEK Athens in the Greek League. He got some run in the UEFA Champions League group stages during his tenure there. He scored his first MLS goal against LAFC last week and will be hungry to do it again. The kid is highly talented. We saw quite a bit of him, and he was an absolute menace to us the other day. Last week. Success breeds upon success. I think this kid is going to be special. He'll be with the Dynamo at least until 2027, and he's always going to be a player to watch out for. Of course, we have the usual suspects, their leading scorers and whatnot, but this kid, he blew my mind after getting a chance to really watch him. He hasn't been on the team for very long, only came in sometime after June 17th. Didn't get a chance to see him in the U.S. Open Cup, in any of the Open Cup, Leagues Cup games, but I know he scored right away. So he's a player to watch out for. Ezequiel Ponce. Easy Ponce. For LAFC, it's got to be Kai Kamara. We're without Denis Bouanga, Matty Bogush, and Kike Oliveira. That's our top 3 scorers, defenders. Now, that obviously brings in Timothy Tillman, who'll be looking to hold down the midfield. But if we're going to have any kind of success in this game in hot and humid Houston, regardless of where we would be playing, even if it was in LA, it's going to be hot as hell anyway. So, it would have been sauna, microwave, oven roast temperatures one way or another. Now, we would need somebody, the likes of a Kai Kamara, to step up. Kai knows the Houston Dynamo very well, knows MLS very well, knows exactly what he needs to do in order to be successful, because he is only the second all-time leading scorer in this league after Chris Wondolowski. If we have any shot at this, a Rocky Balboa to Clubber Lang / Apollo Creed chance, Kai Kamara's got to be the one doing and throwing the punches. Without Kai getting out there and being aggressive, without him being a menace and an aerial attack on set pieces, I don't think we're going to have an easy time. So Kai Kamara needs to be that player to watch, and that player that needs to step up. Obviously, Olivier Giroud's there, but I'm counting on Kai Kamara because I trust Kai Kamara. Not that I don't trust Olivier, but still think he needs time to get acclimated. No keys to the game for Scarf. My key to the game is simple. The veteran must step up. The veterans must step up. Now, I trust everybody that's in that LAFC lineup that's going to start. Saying this as if I know who's starting. I don't know who's starting, but I do trust our players that are still going to be around. I trust Ilie Sanchez. I trust Timothy Tillman. Dare I say I trust Edward Atuesta, but I just mentioned the midfield. We need forwards. And so in this case, however Steve decides to stack up this team, guys like Kai Kamara and Olivier Giroud need to absolutely step up. Giroud might be a veteran in terms of age, experience, tenure playing the game, international experience, what have you, but obviously he's a rookie in our league, but he's a veteran that players are going to look to in big moments. We know he can poach goals. We know he can be successful. He scored some absolute bangers in his lifetime, and fingers crossed that he does so again. But we need the veterans to step up because that's where our scoring punch is going to come from. Now, the score prediction for the match, I don't have anything from Scarf. Y'all are going to hate me, but here's the deal. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. Now, yeah, I guess I'll tell you the scoreline there. Let me rip it off. I do think that LAFC is going to lose on the road 2-1 against Houston. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think LAFC is even going to probably score the first goal of the game, believe it or not. But without 7 key players from their team, this is going to be a tall task. Now, this right here gives me flashbacks of 2018. 2018, when we lost several players to the World Cup and managed to be somewhat successful. That's when we saw the emergence of Dio going in and acting like a bull in a china shop against opposing teams' backlines and goalkeepers. I would love to see that type of an effort from Olivier or Kai, but I don't know what the story is going to be. But I'm hoping that we have a little bit of that magic. And of course, I hope that I'm proved wrong. But as I mentioned, when 7 of our players that get significant minutes are out and our top 3 scorers aren't going to be in the lineup or on the bench, it's going to be a tall task, a Herculean effort, if you will, to steal points on the road. Now, I'm not saying I don't think it could happen. I won't be shocked, but I'll tell you this. I'm not going to put my money on it. That much I can tell you. So therein lies my score prediction. Now, we're about 12 minutes into this podcast. I'm not going to talk another 20. Hopefully that makes y'all really happy. That's really it. That's all I have to say. Without a doubt, that's all I have to say. Now, Scarf's going to be back for the next pod, which will be ready to record on Sunday. We'll do that live, of course. If you're wondering whether or not you missed this or how did I miss Defenders? Look, I pre-recorded this mainly because I had no idea when I could go live. I wanted to get this out there, so nobody to banter with, trying to get this done, trying to be all business. I hope that I informed you, educated you, and maybe mildly entertained you. But if I didn't, I got Hello Kitty. Hello, Philly. Hello, Hello Kitty. How are you doing today? I am very freaking hot, Philly. I've been standing underneath a vent because if there's anything Philly Monster Studios has that is A-OK in my eyes, is the central air. It is nice and cool in here despite all the technology that's running. So thank you very much for paying your water and power bill so I don't sweat my kitties off. Whoa. Hello, Kitty. What are your kitties? That would be a conversation had for a Defenders After Dark episode. Well, Hello Kitty, I certainly appreciate your appearance on here and, of course, your candor. Do you have any last things you want to say to the millions? And millions. Yes, I hope that we beat the Houston Dynamo. I know Philly said that it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Houston, but I am going to call the upset. It will be 2-1 in favor of LAFC. And if I am right, Philly has to go on record and say Hello Kitty is the greatest thing ever made. All right, Hello Kitty. I think I could do that. High five. All right. Now you've officially been entertained. And that being said, you know how we end, or how I'm going to end, or how me and Hello Kitty are going to end this edition of One More Sleep, the Houston Dynamo Part 2 preview. Bye-bye.